I teach second grade, and I did my mastery matrix on sequencing, and we focused on Alexander the Horrible and the Very Bad, No Good Day. As you can tell, this is my sequencing matrix. I broke it down to all 3 levels in 3 different ways, and I used the ribbons to illustrate what each particular assignment was. This one here was sequencing events in order. This was done as a group work, and as you can tell by the pictures of the kids doing it in groups, I have 2 here and I have another 2 on the other side. If you would follow the ribbon, it will tell you that this is recalling the events of the story and putting them in order, which is a DOK 1, level 1 of the ways for that. Then another DOK 1 is identifying the vocabulary words. We did this multiple ways. We did it with writing them on little flashcards that they had to write the vocabulary words on and to study and put in ABC order. We also did it in ABC order here. As you can see, there's an example here of ABC order of the vocabulary words. Students also had to, some of them I had lower level kids, so I allowed them to draw out their vocabulary words. So here would be one of my special ed students who drew out the vocabulary words because they were not able to illustrate them as well and define them. DOK 2, it says pick one of the terrible things that happened to Alexander and write the steps in order using transition words on how to solve this problem. So when we go to that one, that would be all of these students. These students picked a way to tell Alexander how to fix his problem. For example, if he had gum in his hair, it told him using transition words first, next, then, and finally, how to fix that problem. So you can see these examples here. Another example we have is predict what will happen next by doing a see, think, wonder from a picture of the story. So these right here are see, think, wonders. And you can see how each kid did the see, that they did the think, and they did the wonder on each particular one. So you see examples of those. Another one is to predict what they think. So these are the see, think, wonders. These are the predictions and what they think. So the kids would tell you what they thought was wrong, looking at the picture without reading it. Okay, and then this is another one on the steps, writing in sequence to help Alexander. There's some more examples there. Then we have DOK 3. Think about when Alexander wanted to move to Australia. Whenever he was frustrated, where would you go? And they had to choose a country that they would go. Alexander went to Australia, so the children could choose any of the ones that they wanted to. So when we come over to that one, you can see all these PowerPoints. These are trading cards that the students chose different countries, and they had to tell me cool facts that they found and add pictures to it and organize it. So that would be all of those. The next thing that they did would be, these were also sequencing activities on how to do things. So children had to illustrate and put into sentences using transition words and proper sequencing how to do certain skills.
And that's the protocol for the Foursquare, correct?
Yes.
The students were doing that with the Foursquare. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Also, we have story frames here. These are some of the other things that we taught that they had to find out about different parts of the story and answer questions, finding out who the main characters and things were. This was not sequencing, but it was another skill to go with it. Okay. And let's see. Basically, they wrote also sentences and vocabulary words. They had to properly use the vocabulary words and sentences. So that also ties down to our DOK 1, using vocabulary words correctly in sentences.
Okay. So, I mean, how did you decide what students' work would get depicted out here? Did all of them show up somewhere, or does it all mastery students? Or?
All of them did show up somewhere. I tried to find certain areas to find every kid put a piece of work up here.
Okay.
However, not every kid mastered every skill. Mm-hmm. I chose the best for each one, so each one is a mastery skill. They had to have proper punctuation, proper capitalization, proper spelling. They had to have their sequencing in proper order. They had to illustrate if that was one of their protocols. Okay. And so not every child mastered every skill, but every child has something up here that they did master.
Now, did every child get a chance to do this activity in class, each one of those DOKs, or did you specify which one could do 3s versus which one could do 2s? How did you
No,
decide?
I just made it an open thing. We had special ed pushed in our classroom, so we had a little bit of extra help there. And
Okay.
every child had the opportunity to do every activity.
Oh, well, that's great. That's great work. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Hurst. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I do have the books that I had in here. They illustrated a book with having their selves and the very bad day. And I also have those in the classrooms if you would like to see them.
Okay. If you could do this again, did you do it as an immersion unit or?
Yes, it was a PBL immersion
Okay.
unit.
So if you could do it again, would there be anything that you would change or anything that didn't go as well as what you had hoped?
Not really. I think it went really well, especially since we did 2 weeks. We just started doing our stories 2 weeks, and this happened to be the first story for 2 weeks.
Oh, so you were doing a two-week rotation rather than like a 5-day
Yes, sir.
rotation.
Yes, I mean, yes, ma'am.
You're fine,
Yes,
you're
ma'am,
fine.
yes, sir. It's going to be 2 people.
You're fine. You're fine. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I
Okay,
really
this
love the
is
stories.
this is Mrs. Hurst's work. I don't know if you really got a chance to really view it, so I'm going to take a little bit of time so you can look through it and see some of the students' work and take time to actually see it. So here's her data DOK master matrix on it, and then I'll slowly go through and let you see all of them. So here are the vocabulary words. Students were sequencing them, it looked like. Doing things in order. Here's another Foursquare on sequencing on how you do running, looks like. How to make a picture with crayons. There's another Foursquare using transitional words. Here's the words in ABC order. Here's some sequencing sentences, putting them in order. Doesn't look like he used transitional words, so that might actually be another
Yeah,
activity.
that's just vocabulary.
Yeah.
Using correctly in sentences.
All right, is Jack down in his room?
He should be. This is, students had to sequence the story in order, so they had their strips. They started from the very top and went all the way down to the very bottom.
And there's a picture of them doing it.
And here's a picture of the student. They're working in groups to do that. That's great. Okay, we'll start up with the next one. It's in blue.
What's that?
Here's
Give Alexander advice.
yeah,
Using transition words.
transition words. That's great.
This is third grade mastery matrix. Fourth grade social studies mastery matrix. Mr. Lake, what was it that you did for this?
We're going from raw material to finished product in the consumer's hand.
What was it that you actually created?
Okay.
That
Looks like this is a special needs student. Instead of putting vocabulary words in order, the accommodation was to draw a picture for that word. That's great.
They copied down the steps.
You could have brought math into that with railroads, office, bath, you know, the different shapes.
Steps going
Part of it is identifying, you know, what that code word is for the different picture.
That was all in. I didn't say anything, tell me anything. I said there's a tree.
Looks like another sequencing of the story as a group.
So they had to cut the tree down, ship it to, truck it
There's
to the
another
factory,
Foursquare.
put it in the boards.
So how to do something that they pick.
Yeah. Here's a student see, think, wonder on some of the
Make a
pages of Alexander, the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's great that kids were able to separate see, think, wonder.
drawing
That's another one.
Went from the factory to the store. Then they had to explain if the price at the store was the same price that they, at the
It looks like they
factory
have explanations too.
charged
Wonder,
to the store.
you know, like did he? What was that one? Get underneath his
They had
bed.
to mention that the store has to make
And
money.
then
so it's
here
the same
are
price.
the trading cards on the tech step activity where students were
Same cost.
choosing where they would go if they had a horrible day. They've got some great editing skills, Mrs. Hurst. I'll tell you
Yes,
what,
they do. They type that on their own. No help from me.
fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of them, some of them didn't get the last, this last part. They just started left it off.
And the other one thing I was going to throw on.
Okay, and I can put that on here. Just give me a second. This is, oh, so they're all Afghanistan.
This is one child's work. This is one child's work.
Yeah.
One child's work.
You're a star. What? You're a star.
Oh, my store. Oh, it's- Yeah, I'll get a guy to work for that.
Well, I got the flag. Nice.
Try to get a flag in each one.
Canada. Seems like they kind of got all different facts too.
Oh yeah.
France. It's got a bear. Oh, I'm like, what's the bear doing on France?
There are African birds,
Yeah.
brown bears, flamingos, vultures.
Thank you, Mrs. Hurst.
That's called
You need to do that.
workman's
I
comp.
love the pictures.
Yeah, those tend to tell more than kids working together. Okay, and anything else?
This was the book that I discussed. The kids wrote on their own. So this is Jocelyn's. You can see how great her pictures are and how wonderful her sentences. At breakfast, my brother found a different color spoon in his trick cereal box. My sister found a different color spoon, and I found a plain spoon.
Oh, nice descriptor words.
On the way to school, I stepped in poop. My sister and brothers laughed at me when I got home, and my mom laughed. I think I'll move to Germany. At school, I had a substitute. I don't even like subs, not even a bit. We don't get a snack or get to see our best teacher. I could tell it's a horrible, no good day. My brothers and sisters got to eat chocolate, and I didn't. At lunch, we had police come over, and I got yelled at. So you can just give an idea of how they changed the story and wrote their own.
Yeah, that's great.
And she's just really, really good on her stories, and every child made their own story. My mom told me to pick up my room, and my brother and my sister didn't have to. So they really got the concept of why it was good. We had meatloaf for dinner, and I hate meatloaf. There was SpongeBob on TV, and I hate SpongeBob. Look at those graphics.
Yeah.
So the children, we talked about how pictures can also say 1,000 words and how to demonstrate the pictures. So that was another thing that each child did as well.
Great work.